Hi, this is Vicki with Crafting for Fun. Today I want to share with you a cute little box that I learned to make from my friend Leah. Leah is probably my youngest blog follower. She's the daughter of my friend Rhonda, and she is just finishing the 3rd grade. And the other day, Leah showed me a very adorable box that she made. It is a 2" by 2" by 2", so it's a 2" cube that opens up explosion box style. Now inside of Leah's box, she had a votive candle, but I have something different inside of mine. Ta-da! And I have a Stampin' Up! Glitter. It holds Stampin' Up! Glitter or embossing powder or just about any other brand. And the sides just fold up and tuck into the lid. And you can decorate this box any way you like. I think it's just adorable. So let me show you what you'll need in order to make a box similar to this. To make a box similar to this, you'll need some kind of cardstock. Now, Leah made her box from solid color cardstock and decorated the sides using panels of patterned paper. I'm using a nice heavyweight cardstock, and this piece measures 12 by 12. So I'm going to need to cut it down. It measures 6 by 12. So I'm going to cut it down. I'm actually going to cut 3 inches off of the end of this piece. So I'll end up with a piece that is 6 inches by 9 inches. And then with my piece that's left, it measures 3 inches by 6 inches, but I'm going to cut it just a little bit less than 2 inches wide. So just a hair less than 2 inches wide. And then I'm going to cut it 5.5 inches long. So I just have a little bit of waste. So I started out with a 6 by 12 piece, and again I have a 2" by 5.5 inch piece, and I have a 6" by 9" piece. Now I'm going to take my piece that is 6 inches by 9 inches, and I'm going to lay it on my scoring board, and I'm going to do a little scoring. I'm going to score with the 9" side at the top. I'm going to score it 2 inches, 4 inches, 6 inches, and 8 inches. Then I'm going to, with the little 1" section here at the bottom, because from 8 to 9 inches there's just a 1" wide section, I'm going to turn it so that that section is at the top. Now my 6 inches is along the top, and I'm going to score it at 2 inches and 4 inches. And then I need to do one more thing before I remove this. I'm going to go to my 1" mark, and I'm going to score down to 3 inches. And there's a score line there at 3 inches if you look very carefully. And I'm at 5 inches, I'm going to score down to that 3" mark. So the 3 inches over here on the side, and there's also a score line there. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. I'll bring this a little closer. I don't know if you can see the score lines here, but they're on the back side. So now I'm going to just do a little trimming. So I'm going to grab a pair of scissors, and I'm going to begin by, on both long sides of this project, I'm going to trim up to the 2" score line. So everywhere there's a score mark, I'm going to cut up to the 2" score line. And I apologize for going kind of slow, but the lighting makes it a little more difficult for me to see my score lines. There we go. Now I'm going to go to the other side, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go up to the 2" score line. And one more time. Now that's going to leave you with something that looks like this. You have 2 little wings on the end that are only 1" wide, and they fold up on the score line. And we're going to do a little more trimming. So I'm going to go to the very end, the end away from those little 1" tabs, and I'm going to trim off the 2" squares on both sides. Then I'm going to fold this one back, and I'm going to trim the next one. Then I'm going to go to the opposite side and fold the second square back. Oops. And trim the next one. Trim it completely off. Oops. There we go. So now what I have is something that looks like a cross, and then I have these pieces on the end. Now you'll notice that there's a score line in the middle of these end pieces. I'm going to want to trim off the outermost section. So again, I'm going kind of carefully because my lighting is not so good. And then I'm going to go to the opposite side and trim off the part on the outside. So when you're finished, this is what you will have. You will have something that looks like a cross with 2-inch squares on all 4 sides of the cross, and in the middle you'll have a square here with 2 little 1-inch wide flaps on it, and then you'll have these pieces on the end. Now I'm going to do just a little bit of trimming here. Notice I didn't get quite straight. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to lay that down on my work surface with the right side of my project down, and I'm going to apply adhesive to my little 1-inch wide sections. Now you'll want to make sure that the edge closest to the end, that you have good coverage with your adhesive, and then along the very edge of this piece that you have good coverage with adhesive all the way to the end, because that's what's actually going to adhere it to the side of your box. I'm going to fold my score lines, and I'm going to fold that together to make a nice right angle corner. So I just folded that up and adhered it together. Now I'm going to go to the other side. I'm going to apply adhesive, and I could apply it to the box or to the tab, but since I did it on the other tab, I'll lay my tab, I'm going to fold it in, just makes it easier for me to work with, and apply adhesive. Oops. Probably should have put adhesive on both before I started working. So I've got adhesive on my tab all the way to the corner, and I'm going to fold my side in to make a nice right corner at the top of my box, and then stick those tabs together. And if anything is uneven at this point, you can do a little tiny bit of trimming, and I see that I have just a little hairline piece that needs to be trimmed off there. Okay, so now all of my major part of my box construction is done, because what I'm going to do now is fold everything really good on the score lines. Then I'm going to take all 3 tabs of my box and fold them in, and I'm just going to tuck them inside of my lid. Whoops. And that creates my box shape. And you can see all my patterns line up. It's amazing. You would think it would be really difficult to work with stripes, but it's not. So the only thing I have left to do is I'm going to open this box back up, because I need to put a little platform on the inside to hold my goodies. So I'm going to bring back this 2-inch by 5.5-inch piece, and I'm going to lay it on my scoring tool with the 5.5-inch side at the top, and I'm going to score it 2 inches, 2 1/2 inches, 4 1/2 inches, and 5 inches. Now, this is where you'll need to do a little fiddling on your own. I'm going to bring back my original container here with the glitter inside, and you'll notice that if I take this little piece of scrap paper and punch out a circle, that my circle is about the same in diameter as my glitter container. That's going to be your clue. Whatever you want to put inside of your box, you're going to want to make sure that you have a shape that will fit over the bottom of that container. So I'm just going to use this as a tool, and I'm going to put a little adhesive on it. Now, when I fold my bottom piece, I have some different sections. I have 2 1/2-inch sections, 2 1/2-inch sections, then I have a 2-inch section, then another 1/2 inch and a 2-inch. I want to work on the end closest to these 2 1/2-inch sections, and the little 2-inch section that is closest to that, sandwiched between my little sections, I want to go ahead and put this piece, oops, I put adhesive on the wrong side. I want to put this little piece right in the center of my square there. Might be easier to see for you to see if I do it. I'm trying to think of how this would be easiest for you to see. So I'm just going to center it in the middle of that square. And you might wonder, why am I using this circle? Well, you'll see very shortly. So that circle is just a tool. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring back my hole, my circle punch, and I'm going to center it over that circle. And then when I punch out, you will see that the circle that I punched out is exactly where my little circle was taped. And it's, since this project allows you very little, there's very little space on the side, very thin borders. If you get it off center, it's not really going to work very well. So now what I need to do is turn this over to the back side, and again on the end with the two little 1/2 inch sections, I'm going to apply adhesive to the farthest one out, and I'm going to do it on the back side. Now I'm going to lay this down, and I'm going to fold that little back section over, and that will create a box shape when I pop it up. So there we go, a little box shape with a circle in the center. And you'll notice my seam is on the back, so you don't see any seams here on the inside. I could have put that tab to the inside, but it doesn't look as pretty. It will still work, it just doesn't look as pretty. Now I'm bringing my whole box back, and for speed I'm going to go ahead and use mono adhesive here. But again, on box construction, I do recommend that you use something strong like sticky strip. Now this is going to be the front panel of your box. If you look at your cross, the part that's at the bottom, this is your front panel of your box. So I want the pretty edge of my base piece to face that. I could put the open edge, but it looks better if the pretty edge is facing that. So I'm just going to kind of center it up in there. Make sure everything folds up well, and it does. And now I'm just ready to press that down. Give it a good press. Now I can fold the sides of my box up and tuck the ends in, and there we go. I have a perfectly cute little box there all ready to decorate. And on my original, I just applied a tag to the top of it, a very simple tag. Let me bring that back here. That I made with a Stampin' Up! Tag punch, and a sentiment, and a little scrap of ribbon, and then a tiny heart punch. So thank you, Leah, for sharing this project, and I hope that you enjoyed what I shared today. If you have any questions about this project, please email me at craftingforfun, or you can check out my blog, craftingforfun.blogspot.com, for additional craft ideas. Hope you come back to see me again soon.